Hey guys, Art17 here, and we are in week 4 now, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to talk about assignment number 7, which is a profile portrait. Profile meaning side view of a head, a face. You probably put the whole head, not just the face, but we're going to do the whole head. So, profile portrait. I'll talk about number 8, map shapes and drawing your own eyes later in the week. So let's get right into it. Um, so it's good to have a template available. So you can use this one if you want to pause the video and have it. It's just a way of having a guideline for where eyes, nose, mouth, ear are placed. Typically, right? I mean, more than not. This is an average. There's somebody out there that has something drastically different, maybe so, but mostly the human features on the head are as so. They're placed basically in the same sort of areas. Uh, I'm going to provide a video, but this is the real basics here. You're going to add detail and change things and adjust things slightly when you're getting down to the detail. This is just to make a gesture drawing, which I provided a video about gesture drawing objects. Well, the same goes for any object. So the head is the same thing. You can lightly sketch out what the general shape is of the side view of the head. And if you notice, it's kind of an egg shape on its side, or not total side, but sort of tipped. So this would be the bottom of the egg, minus the contour of the nose and contour of the lips and chin. If you were to draw sort of an egg shape tilting on its side slightly for the chin over here, where the back goes up and around, that would be generally the shape of a head from the side view. Okay. Then, of course, you're going to place eyes, nose, mouth, and ear. And when you do that, you're going to create the brow, the dip in here where the eye sockets are, the bridge of the nose comes out and down onto the lip, and there's a nostril there. And then you have the lips, which are closer to the nose than the chin, the bottom of the chin. But they're sort of in the middle from the nose and where the chin dips out. This is just a template to work from. Typically, the eyes are in the middle of the head. If you measure this, they're about in the middle. And one mistake students make, hey, that rhymed. One mistake students make is that they put the eyes kind of up here, or they put them here, but then they cut off the head like this and make this really short head up here. And it's not. You don't realize it, maybe because the hair is up here, but it goes way up here and around, just like a round ball right there. So you want to look at that when you're drawing your portrait. And you're going to get your portrait from maybe something online, or taking a picture of yourself or someone else to work from with a single light source on it. So there's lights and darks. I'll show you examples of what is lights and darks from a single light source and what isn't. Okay. This is just a template so that you can get started, and then all the shading and detail are going to come after that. So eyes in the middle. They're not way up here, and this head is certainly not cut off like here. That's ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, you got to have all this room up here for forehead and your brain to be in there. And then about halfway back, draw a line down to where that halfway mark is, And the eyes and the top of the ear sort of meet in like the top of the eye, top of the ear, right behind the halfway mark. So the ear isn't way up here, or it isn't even in the halfway mark. It's back further. So here it is, and it typically ends around where the top of the lip is. Same sort of area. If you draw a line straight across, okay? You know, you can get into this part if you want to. I think you can eyeball it. You can eyeball where the eye goes. But okay, I'll stop. Anyway, but you know, once you get the ear back here and to the mouth, you know, it's pretty well done. You can govern where the chin is. You know, don't make the chin too long or too short or cut off. You got to really notice what you're looking at when you're drawing. Notice what you're looking at. Make a gesture drawing of it. Is it accurate to the proportions and size and shape to what you're looking at? And then you have to adjust it. A lot of art and a lot of drawing is just being aware, just noticing things maybe you didn't notice before. All the shading and all the light source, where things are actually placed, how big a head really is, how long a chin is. Typically, everybody's going to be a little slightly different, but it's not that much different. Okay, so one thing I want you to notice is the eye is not right on the bridge of the nose. It's set back slightly. And if you take a side view picture of yourself or look at anybody else's picture, you'll see that that's so. The eye is set back from the bridge of the nose, and it's right here where that dip comes in with the hollow of the eye and it meets right there. So this is the bridge of the nose coming down to the end of the nose and back. It certainly isn't pointed, it's rounded off. Okay. And the eye is kind of a elongated triangle shape. See that? It isn't an oval. It certainly isn't round from the side view. It's not oval. It doesn't have a rounded back part here. It has a part that comes to a point. So it comes to a point on the side in the back. That makes it sort of like a slightly distorted, elongated triangle as opposed to an oval. Okay. The front could be rounded right there, right? Where the eyeball is seen. But because of the lids, it comes back to a point here. And part of the eye is covered and the bottom not as much. And when you put your iris in here, the colored part of your eye, it's slightly covered up by the top lid. Everybody's really is, unless you're like looking like you're totally excited, bug-eyed, surprised, which isn't a natural necessarily look. It's like a surprise look. Then maybe yes, but you'll notice that too. Notice that about everyone you're looking at. The top of the iris colored part is slightly covered by the top lid, and the bottom generally meets the bottom of the lid or slightly is covered too. Sometimes it's not, but you'll see that in the individual. And then you got your eyebrow right there. Okay. Lips we'll talk about too. I'm going to provide a video on this about going into actually starting to draw. These are on Bing profile drawings. You can see the side view. What I don't want you to do is draw cartoon faces. I would consider this more of cartoon, this more cartoon, where it's exaggerated, uplifted nose, exaggerated lips, the eyes are really big, like this one. That's just not natural. I want you to draw realistic, and when you get to do cartoon and anime or something, then you can go that direction. But if you don't start from a basis of knowing what realism is, then the other isn't going to turn out as well. You need to have the knowledge of both, and that's what I'm teaching in this class. So these are more accurate to something uh, a natural realism face from real life. This one not. This one not. Big bug eyes like that? No. Nobody has them. It's cartoon. I don't want you to draw in a cartoon sense. So don't send me something that's cartoon. And some students do. They didn't listen. They didn't watch the video or something. And they're sending me cartoon drawings. And I'll just send them back. The eyes are too big. The lips are too over exaggerated. Um, you know, on and on. Pick something that is real. That's not a profile, by the way. That's more of a 3/4 view, which we're going to do in this class later anyway. But all of these that are directly to the side and not cartoon are good ones to go for. And I would just take a picture of someone you know, or have someone take a picture of you, or you take a picture of yourself in a side view, and try to do that profile view. Okay. Next thing I want you to do is finish it up by shading it. Don't leave it like this one, where there's no shading on the face. And unless you have put lines with lipstick on your lips, there's no lines around the lips. There's no line around the outside of that lip. It's just that the lip is a darker tone in skin than the face skin. And that you just shade it in and you don't put a line around it. Like this one. There's no line around these lips. They're shaded and it just ends there. You don't draw a border line around the lips. Okay. You really don't need it around the face either, although that one has it. But there really, it really isn't a line around the border of the face either. It's just shaded. It's shading that ends, and the background begins, and that's how you get your shading there. So more images. You can look at more and more and more. I would say take a picture of yourself with a single light source, maybe coming from one direction or the other, not straight on the side of the face, because then it's not going to show any dark or light areas. So slightly to the right or to the left is going to show light and dark areas better, and that's going to help you shade. Okay. This guy's kind of twisted slightly to this. Let's look at this one. They didn't draw a border line around everything. It's just that these shading marks, light and dark, end, and then you have your background gray or whatever it is. Okay. Why is my computer not charging? About that. Okay, that's better. So notice that. And there's no line around the ear, like lines all over the place to define. You can sketch this out in faint lines, then use your shading. And if you still have bold lines around, get rid of them because they're really not accurate. See, it's that light shading that has a dark background. They meet each other, and there is perceived the edge of the face with no lines around. There's a faint, broad shading line in here, but the rest of it, no. Yeah. Okay, so I think you've seen enough. Watch for the video because that can go through it for you and map it out and put features and then show you where shading should go. The shading basically is going to show where the cheek, chin, nose, and everything have shape. They all kind of turn and move around. They're rounded off. There's going to be light highlighted areas. There's going to be darker areas, and there's going to be a light highlighted, or maybe on the forehead, depending on your light source. This is coming from probably the top area here. but above, not straight in the face, so that this is darker, and then you got this shadow on the neck, right? And then a shadow on the top lip because the light's coming from above, but the bottom lip's kind of lit up with a highlight right there. Highlight right here, but then darker right here, light, dark, all over the place. That's what's giving you the shape, okay? And you can emphasize that like this one very dramatically. And it even brings more shape, more shape, more shape. You want shape because you want a 3D appearance. You want the 3D effect. And if you don't shade, you're not getting it that way. So you really want to shade. All right, so I've shown enough of these. Please don't send me something that's cartoon with big eyes and exaggerated lips and stuff like that. We want to go realism. So you can look on Google too. There, Google has some other images to show. This kind of scratchy shading marks, which I don't really prefer because what they do is sort of show a texture, like you're all cut up and stuff. I know most people look at this and go, well, no, I don't see that. But it could be perceived that way. So I like the smooth shading. Get yourself a smudging tool, or you can use a rag over your baby finger to smudge out the graphite. And if you want to use charcoal, that's even better. I mean, it works really quick and you can get a lot of different tones with it. If you have a kneaded eraser, you have to have that certain eraser for charcoal, kneaded eraser, a knead eraser, whatever. Look for those. And then the hair is a whole other thing with highlights, dark and light areas. You can just erase out tone if you put it in one tone for the hair and then start erasing it out to make the highlights. That's another way to do it. Or you can just leave it out. That's not really showing it much. This is kind of a quick sketch on the hair. Not the greatest, but I'll see what it looks like. I may ask you to add more to the hair if you do something like that. And then, of course, right here, they maybe erased out right there or just left it with less tone to give the shine on the hair. Because you're just showing the paper white through there. That's what's making the shine on the hair. And, there isn't really a line here or around the lips or on the neck anywhere. This is just shading. Light and dark areas that meet up with each other and they end somewhere and go back. But the hair is just done with some solid tones and then a lot of lighter areas kind of either erased out or left out. Hair can be kind of difficult, but yeah. Okay. Another thing I want to mention is all skin has a tone. No skin is as white as your drawing paper. So unless it's a highlight area, then you can emphasize that and have a lot of contrast in something by leaving where it's really shiny on the face from your light source. But the rest of it has a tone, and most of it has a tone. Okay? So don't leave really light areas everywhere. This has, I think, got a slight tone everywhere except for maybe right there and on the nose. They left that maybe as white as the paper, but the rest of it all has tone. Very slight tones and then very dark tones and everything in between. You should be able to count up about 7 different levels of tone when you're done. All right, watch for the video, and we'll leave it at that. And that'll help you. And let's get started on this one, and we'll talk a little later in the week.